Hello, welcome my friends to the Better Eurofan, that's me. For today's episode I'm going to review the Slovenian entry for Eurovision 2022, which has been represented by the group LPS with the song Disko, which in English translates as "Just change the K for the C and that's it." Right after Anna Soklic tried to stand out with a gospel ballad in last year's contest, although she did not make it to the finals unfortunately, Slovenia moves forward with its participation, looking to improve their last results. Let's take a look on the artist chosen this time to represent the Balkan nation on touring. LPS, which is an acronym for Las Pistas Lights, is a Slovenian band in the genres of soul, punk, pop and jazz. They have formed recently as a band in 2018, when the guys met in the music room of their high school. In fact, they're still studying, and also at the same time participating in music festivals and performing in their native country. The current members are vocalist Filip Vidušin, drummer Gaspar Glupic, guitarist Max Meja, bassist Sala Belenšek, who also plays tenor and alto saxophones, and keyboardist Shiga Svišek. It's fair to wonder how is that these guys jumped from the music room to the big stage in touring representing to their country. Listen up because I'm going to explain it right now. Following their previous strategy for the last edition before the COVID-19 pandemic, the Slovenian public broadcaster organized once again their national final, Eurovision Melodija or EMA, on its 24th edition divided in two phases. The first one, named EMA Fresh, had 24 contestants, all of them emerging artists, that will compete in a series of duels for 4 weeks between November and December of last year. 3 contestants will qualify to the final stage at the end of every week, while the remaining will be allocated in a second chance round in the final week. In that second chance round, a contestant will qualify to the final stage every day. Then, in the final round, the 14 finalists will compete for 4 spots to the second phase, 2 chosen by the juries and 2 chosen by the public. LPS was one of the emerging artists in this phase, when in the final round they got one of the spots for the second phase thanks to the juries. For the second phase, EMA itself, it had 20 contestants, 16 of them in the established artists category, and the 4 emerging artists previously qualified from the first phase. They will compete in 2 semifinals, in which 12 will qualify to the grand final, 6 chosen by the juries and 6 more chosen by the public. It comes to attention that from both semifinals, all the 4 emerging artists qualified to the grand final thanks to the public voting, including LPS, who competed in the second semifinal. In the grand final, who was broadcasted in mid-February, after the performances of all the finalists, it was evident with the voting results that LPS was the absolute favorite for the public and the second most voted artist for the juries, earning the necessary points to win the national final and with it the right to represent Slovenia on the stage of touring. An animated and different proposal on its own way. Now here comes the analysis according to what they have presented in their official music video. The melody of the song blends pop, funk and jazz, making a curious fusion. Although it can sound like a vintage song, it's interesting to listen to the melodic variety it has. By the way, the voice of the lead singer, Filip, is right and adjusted to this musical genre fusion. Many will think that because of the title of the song, it talks about having fun in a club without any worries and disco music in the background, but it is not, because the lyrics are about a real-life experience of Filip, who got dumped in a disco by a former girlfriend and is dancing with another guy. It's to be mentioned in addition that the lyrics are written in Slovene, although in an effort to expand the promotion of the song in and out of Europe. The very same day of the first semi-final, they released the English version of the song, with the help of one of their schoolmates, while they were already in the hotel room in Turin, but they will still perform the original version in Slovene. The song does not transmit a message by itself, being just a teenage love story with a sad ending for the guy, who moves forward. Although in the official music video there's a little more to say, which I'm going to analyze in detail. An animation of a comic starts off official music video, giving an interesting and different side of the story related in the lyrics. Plot is developed in a disco, of course, with a lot of young people dancing on the floor, and a guy, which is the main character of the story, appears sitting on a bar with his cocktail, looking depressed and sad. In the first verse, he is seen happy and having fun with his girlfriend on the dance floor, making allusion to the part on the chorus mentioning that, but only in dreams. Then we can realize it's an illusion of the main character. In the meanwhile, the guys at LPS are seen playing in that disco, although not taking part in the story. In fact, if you can notice, Philip and the main character are very much alike in the comic. By the chorus, scenes of the guy dumping his boyfriend for another guy on the dance floor are seen. He wants to bring her back, but then she affirms she doesn't want to be with him anymore, as it can be understood, as later the main character looks disappointed and broken-hearted. It must be tough to get dumped in a party just like that, but those things can happen. With the second verse, you can see the main character is walking through a bridge. In some moment he realizes his ex-girlfriend is passionately kissing with the guy she went with in moonlight. He gets shocked for the scene, stumbling out himself and falling down to the river. In the bridge of the song, he is seen slowly falling down to the river deep, while fish, disco balls, microphones and musical instruments are seen. Going back to the disco, the scene of the girl dancing with another guy is on loop with the water and the fish of the river, while there's another girl next to the main character in the bar. I can understand this as one of those moments in your life that are so impactful that you unconsciously recall those instances over and over again, with the water symbolizing the lack of affection of the main character. The music video ends with the girl at the bar starting a casual conversation with him, inviting him to join her, which he agrees, changing his mood to a happier one, probably getting over of his lack of affection caused by his ex-girlfriend, as the water and fish disappear, giving himself another chance. Making a summary of the comments, the Slovenian entry for this year raises some interest and curiosity, a very different proposal among the other entries for this edition. But will it be enough to convince to the European audience? Recalling the staging in the Slovenian national final, this was quite specific, just with them in the stage performing the song, dressed like those vintage jazz bands. And a spinning disco ball is the only visual graphics. It has its charm, as it's like the band who plays at the prom and livening up the party to the rest of their schoolmates. It's interesting in this case how this simple performance convinced both the juries and the public. For the staging in Turin, they decided to go a little beyond. It was seen during the rehearsals they will have literally a big disco ball on stage, but it will not spin. All of them will be around the disco ball, with the exception of the drummer Gasper, which will be in top of it with a platform. Initially, they had the idea of using the kinetic sun, with the spotlights in motion pointed to the disco ball, which will be in spinning too, trying to create refraction effects that would have been interesting. But as we knew, the song went static, the disco ball too, and the idea was finally dropped out, although the set of spotlights to the disco ball remained. About the outfits, all of them were wearing black suits, except for Philippe, which was wearing a burgundy suit to outstand. After watching their live performance in the first semi-final, they looked confident and spontaneous. It would have been good to see them in the grand final, but unfortunately they received a very low score, placing last in that semi-final. Despite the result, for them the fact represented a whole country in a musical competition that is seen in many places worldwide must have been a unique experience for them. However, we could imagine the return to the reality in the high school must also have been hard for them. For now, they are focused to graduate from high school, while they decide if they move forward with a musical career together, or if they decide to go in separate ways and start their studies in college. And you, what do you think about the Slovenian entry for this year? Comment here down below and let's start some discussion. And this is it for today's episode. As usual, before I finish, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications to be aware every time I upload new content here. And also follow me in my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.